All right, everybody, good morning once again. Welcome to our second and final live stream of Monday, the 11th of October. We are in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we're taking the iconic Spitfire, Supermarine Spitfire from Rochester to Calais-Dunkerque. About a 30-minute flight. So that's what we're looking at right there. We're going to fly just south, kind of the Dover Cliffs. I was trying to add it, but it won't let me do it. It'll say go to Calais, turn around, go back to the Dover Cliffs, and then go back to Calais. So, yeah, not gonna worry about that. Anyway, let's get in here. Get our fun flight ahead. No frills really. Just gonna have a nice, relaxing 30-minute flight, if it's going to even be that. It might be even shorter. So, anyways, let's get in here, get our weather changed and nice and sunny. Of course, make it a little bit easier to fly. The only thing that's going to be the most challenging part of the flight is the landing. Oh, we're on grass. I didn't realize this was a grass runway. Oh, look at that. Nice. Alright, let's change the weather. So we have that. Brakes off. Just have a quick look around. This nice classic paint scheme for the Spitfire. And away we go.
South End approach Musket 237 is type Supermarine Spitfire 1 miles south of Echo Golf Tango Oscar 900 feet. Request flight following.
Musket 237 South End approach. Squawk 4362.
Squawk 4362 Musket 237.
Musket 237 radar contact 2 miles south of Echo Golf Tango Oscar 1,700 feet. Altimeter 29.92.
Roger, Musket 237.
Make our way towards our timed approach. That's all the way over in Calais-Dunkerque. We can actually do that. Ooh, look at that. We're flying with the cockpit open. Oh my goodness. Breaking the law, breaking the law. We'll keep that open just so we have a bit of the engine noise here in the cockpit. It's a little bit quieter out here actually, surprisingly. Alright, now I just got to get the plane to settle down a little bit here. Find that sweet spot. Try to keep the altitude at least somewhat reasonable, but not. We want like just a gentle climb, nothing too extreme. Might have found it. Nope. Or we might have got the plane to settle down here. Alright. There we go. I think that's good. Nav lights are on. Yeah, we got a nice gentle climb going on here, so we're good. We'll keep the window open here for a little while just to enjoy the sounds of the Spitfire. Here in the cockpit. Here it's just like this, like the wind, you know, kind of crazy.
Musket 237 contact approach on 120.705. Good day.
Going to 120.705 Musket 237. Approach Musket 237, 4,200 feet.
Musket 237, approach altimeter 29.902, continue as planned.
Let's see what other little bits and bobs we have here. We have the lights, panel lights. One there, and one over there. Pretty cool. No autopilot, of course. Now, one of the things I did find, you can have the, look at that. It does have, they did put in a GPS system here. I don't think it has an autopilot. At least not that I know of. Or not that I can determine. Oh, there's spare bulbs right there. That's pretty cool. Now we may, actually, the way I took off, because, you know, it's not like normally when I fly we take off and then I hit the nav button and the autopilot and it steers. We're kind of flying by the seat of our pants technically, but we have I think actually we're going to fly over the Dover Cliffs. I think that's coming up here. I think. I could be wrong. But I think we will. That was completely not by design. That was something I was hoping to do, but there wasn't a way to add that point of interest into the flight plan so that we could do it. I think they're over here. Cliffs. We'll see if I'm correct. I think that's them right there. Just on the other side of Chalksole Green Airstrip. Yep, that must be the Cliffs of Dover right there. I feel fairly confident that's the case. Hopefully I'm not wrong. It's kind of hard to get. Oh, maybe that's them over there. Because Dover might be right. Actually, those might be the cliffs over there. I think that we didn't get the there we go. That out there. Okay, there's Dover. So the Dover cliffs are right over here. So we'll fly over the cliffs this way here. There they are. Yep, there they are. Not too shabby for not knowing the area. Hello, Mick.
Musket 237, contact London Center on 118.475. Good day.
Now I changed my call sign.
118.475 for Musket
Because this was the squadron. The painting on this aircraft is for the Muscat Squadron, not Musket, Muscat. There's the cliffs of Dover, right there. Try to capture a point of interest there. There they are. The White Cliffs of Dover. And out over the channel we go. Oh, thank you, Mick. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's always good to... Oh, I forgot. Story time. I almost forgot about it. I was like, wait a minute. I forgot we were going to have... It was kind of hard to do story time while I'm trying to focus on driving. So, story time real quick. We were talking about blowing stuff up yesterday in Astroneer. And so... The first time we really went to... Well, we'd been to the field a couple times when I got to Germany. It was short little field exercises, 3 days, 5 days, and all that. But generally, the big field training was when we went to Wildflicken, which was quite a long drive from our base in Heilbronn up there. And... that's where we did weapons qualifications, and the first time I went, we actually got to, I guess in a way, play with explosives. And one of the things that we got to do was we got to actually detonate a real live claymore. Not just training and it's you put it in the ground and you aim it and you do all the stuff to set it up to use it and test the the firing system and all that kind of stuff and make sure that it's all set to go. So they had like this area that we had targets, paper targets, that were stapled to a wooden post, and you were supposed to set the thing down, aim it, and then detonate it like somebody came up into your area, and then boom, you let up the claymore, and basically which would either wound or kill whoever happened to walk into the area. Well, it had rained, because Wildflicken had, typically within a few days you saw all 4 seasons. It would be like spring-like weather in the morning. The afternoon it'd get really hot. In the evening it would be like fall, and overnight it would rain or snow. It's just, you never knew what to expect. And so there was all this standing water. It was like there was this huge puddle right in where our little area was for the to do the Claymore stuff. And so I thought about it, because we were going to be a safe distance, and I thought, well, what if I don't just aim it straight ahead, but I tilt it back just a little bit? And that's what I did. I put it kind of close to because it was going to be underwater, right? Nobody would see what I was getting ready to do. It was probably a bit dangerous, but I'm like, well, at least we know what happens. What could be the outcome of this? And so I set it up, did all my stuff, ran the wire back across the street to the other side of a what do you call it, a berm. And so they said, okay, fire the hole, click, click, click. Boom! It totally, the water was all gone, the target and everything with it was all gone. It was like, it just disintegrated everything. And it was such pressure that some of the little ball bearings got buried into the mud. And you could pick it out and check out the size of the ball bearings. Little BB pebbles, or BB, almost like what you would see in a BB gun. It was just that small. Just this little small pellets. Did you set up the Spitfire in case of water landing? No. We're going to land on the land.
Speedbird 2556, heavy contact, Brussels Center on 125.0.
No, we're going to land on land. We may crash, but we're going to be on land if we crash. I can assure you. So I'm going to... So I'm going to go for the approach here, and then we should start hearing... we should talk to the Calais-Dunkerque tower here shortly. So I'm just going to go by that time approach, and we may just do it. This hasn't gone as... It's gone a little bit quicker, so we're just going to try to set up a good landing approach as best as we can, and then see what we get from there. But anyway, yeah, so that's the story time. We got to play with all kinds. We had Bangalore torpedoes and TNT and shape charges and C4 and just all kinds of fun stuff to play with. Cratering charges. We made abatis, which is where you fell trees in a crisscross pattern to make it difficult for tanks to pass down the road.
Calais traffic musket 237 4 miles, north 4,500 feet inbound to land runway 24.
Alright, there's our approach. Wow, they didn't even say welcome to France. Welcome to Normandy. Oh, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, Nick. We had all kinds of... It was a good time. It was, I don't know if I told this part of the story before, but at the very end, right, we had all this leftover explosives, like C4, cratering charges, shape charges, just all kinds of stuff. And typically when you have excess, you have to turn it back in, which nobody who runs any kind of range wants to do, because it's just a mountain of paperwork that you have to do. Because not only did you do a mountain of paperwork to draw all of it, now you got to do a mountain of paperwork to turn it back in if you didn't use it. So technically, what you did was you just burned through it. So like if you're on a weapons range, you fire off all the ammo you can, and you just stand there, just go through as many magazines as you can and just burn all that ammo, police up the brass, and turn it all in as expenditure. And so they said, oh, that's what we're going to do. We're going to blow all this all this stuff. And so we piled it all together, but it wasn't like on top of one another necessarily. There was like concrete blocks, so we put like blocks of C4 to blow up the concrete block, that sort of thing, right? And so we set it all up, and we go to the safe area, click, 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 boom! It was this huge explosion, like just enormous. And I mean, you know, you're pretty far away from it, but you could just feel the explosion, right? And the post commander there at Vielflicken, they heard it all the way on the main post, and we were way out there, you know, when we did this. They basically told us if we ever did something like that again, we would never be able to go back to Vielflicken for training. But yeah, that was probably the highlight of my time as a combat engineer, was doing that. Just, you know, it was a lot of fun. We had a good time with it, you know, to be able to do something like that. And, you know, it was a one-time thing, because after that they were like, yeah, it's going to get turned in. If it's not used, it's, you know, no, you're never going to be able to do that again. So yeah, it was good stuff. All right, let's get lined up here. Let's go ahead and get the gear down at least. So we're kind of ready to land. Now this is going to be the tricky part. I tried to figure out the sort of, you know, what do I have to do to get this thing to get on the ground safely? It's really difficult, because it's like you want to keep the speed up, because you don't want to lose too much altitude either, right? But it's like but then we're going too fast, and it's like I can't just like glide over the runway and just, you know, set it down gently after we kind of bleed off that speed gliding over the runway. You know, so that's the tricky part. But we're going to try here. Let's see if we can get a good landing out of this. See, already we're losing altitude, and we're saying we're too fast, which technically we are, but I want to get a little bit of altitude and then be able to kind of have the ability to kind of just glide in a little bit. But all right, there's our airport there off the left wing. Okay, let's see if we can start to slow this. Alright, see, that's the other tricky part too, is when do I drop the flaps to slow down? You know? Because then it's like certainly the dynamic of the plane it changes as soon as you put the flaps down. See, now all of a sudden we're losing a lot of altitude, and if I pull the nose up too much, then I can stall the plane. Look how quickly we were up there just above the path marker, And now we have to kind of speed up just a bit so we don't lose too much altitude too quickly. So let's see if we can get this right this time. I'd like to get a good solid landing here. I know Mick would be tickled pink if I can nail the landing after the nice little flight we had here. This is the tricky part. See, this is what I'm talking about. It starts to get a little jumpy. And then I lose sight of the airport. And then this is what happens. I end up a little bit short. And if I pull up, because we're already losing speed, then I end up stalling. I think I might have... Oh, I think I did it. Oop, up. No! Doggone it. I had it too. Oh, man. I had it. It was on the ground, and then it just shot across the runway. I couldn't control. Oh, man. Doggone it. Man. And see, there's just no way to... like, just get it to tip back down. Yeah, as soon as you hit the ground with this, it's like it wants to go everywhere. Doggone it. We had it too. That was like the best. I think that was probably the best. Help! Somebody push from the back. That's the way. Oh man, I'm close. We got on the ground and I couldn't. I was trying to hit the brakes to slow it down. I think that's the problem. The brakes are so touchy on this thing that as soon as you hit the brakes to try to get it to slow down, it's like it just goes all over the place. And it's so easy to hit the brake and then it just totally ruins it. You know, it'll just nose right over and there's no recovering from it, because once it goes, yeah, the brake, they're a little too sharp, I think. That's the problem. And what I should have done is just kind of just use the rudder, you know, and just gone back and forth and just tried to slow the plane down that way. You know, if we went into the grass, that would have been okay. We could have recovered from it, and we could have just let the speed bleed off naturally. But yeah, you hit the brakes, even if you just touch the brake, it's like it just completely noses the plane over. You know, you have to be very careful. Man, that sucks. We had it too. Well, anyway, let me turn the battery off and it'll give us credit for the flight, I think. Maybe not. I guess not. It won't even do that for us. Anyway, well, we'll just go ahead and go to the main menu. Anyway, yeah, they are. It's really difficult to get it to settle down once you get on the ground. It's almost like you have to just let it do its own thing until the speed bleeds off naturally. And then you can kind of tap the brakes a little bit. Or you could just, well, even if you turn too sharply with the rudder, then you're trying to get it to, trying to steer it with that. And then it's just like you immediately, it can tip the plane over either way. So anyway, well, that's going to be it for today, folks. I will see you all tomorrow morning. We'll pick right up there in the F2 flight, or not F2 races. We'll make some adjustments there. Tomorrow, real quick, before we call it a day here, I'm just going to touch on tomorrow. And Mick, I'm sure you go ahead and get your stuff set up, kind sir, and I will be in your stream shortly. So we're going to go here to the 350i again. And for tomorrow's flight, we are going to go from, I've got the airports already saved. I wrote it, well, not saved, but I wrote them down so that we know where we're going to and from. And that is there. So it's going to be kind of a night flight. So that's runway 8, which should be this one. Yep. And our destination is going to be right there. Why is the airport not showing? There it is. And we selected 09 right. So there we are. About a 2-hour flight. Yeah, it's very difficult, Chris. I'm gonna keep trying to practice at it until I can get some kind of an idea down of what to do. Of course, we're gonna do a IFR flight, so that should be about, actually, for IFR, it's not too bad. Yeah, so that's just under 2 hours. And then we'll have an ILS approach into Rajiv Gandhi International. So hopefully whoever's been asking for flights in India, I'm doing this. And so it may not be the airports that you're asking for, but it is what it is. I'm sorry, but I didn't write down those airport names or whatever, but you're getting something. So yeah, and so it'll be kind of a night flight because nighttime's already moving across here. So yeah. So yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. All right. Anyway, take care. Enjoy the rest of your